keep going.
Christian or missionaries?
Gospel.
There are two different types of missionaries.
Paul.
Christians, the fake ones
Paul.
and the real ones. And
Missionary
missionaries.
Paul.
Alright. There you go, guys. Anything back there from y'all?
What missionaries do?
What do they do?
Well, they spread the gospel.
Yeah.
The gospel of Jesus Christ, His life, and kingdom come.
Wow. I don't even have to teach this anymore. Alright, so today we're going to talk about something that's very, very near and dear to me. My first year in Thailand. After I graduated from college, I moved overseas to Thailand, and it's very different from America. Before we do that, we're going to talk a little Thai. Y'all like learning languages?
Yes.
You say you're all smart, and you like to learn. So I'm going to teach you how to be smart just in another language.
Guys,
It's polite.
guys are crap.
Crop.
Crop.
Nice. So, at the end of every sentence, to be polite, everyone says one of two words. You say crop or ka. So guys, we all say crop. Say it. 1, 2, 3.
Crap.
Nice. Wow. You guys all sound like Thai people. If I were to say that sentence in Thai, I would say, you guys all sounded like Thai people. Crop. And it means I'm being nice. I'm being formal. I'm being polite.
Oh, thanks.
You and all the other gals in the room would say
Ka.
ka. You can say ka or ka. It's a tonal language, so
You just like,
ka. It's very different. So the way that you say thank you is you would say kakun.
Kakun.
Kakun. 1, 2, 3.
Kakun.
And then
Crap.
Ka.
kakun krap.
Kakun. Ka.
Nice. And there's no participation over there, ladies? Can't hear you. And the way that you say thank you is you say yindi. Yindi. Yindi.
That's your welcome.
There you are. That's
That's your welcome. You said thank you.
Oh, no, sorry. Thank you is kapun, but you're welcome is yindi.
Indi Ka.
Yindi krap. Nice. All right. You're basically tied at this point. And then whenever someone asks, like, hey, do you understand? You'd say, chai mai krap? Chai mai?
Kanaka.
Chai mai krap?
Wait, say that again.
Chai mai.
Chai mai.
Chai is actually yes in Thai, and mai is like a question word. And so essentially you're asking, yeah? Uh-huh. Yeah. So, you understand? Yeah? Uh-huh. So that's a little bit of what I had to learn day one on the field, which I messed up very often. Before I tell you guys why I went, I have a very funny story. So my first time in Thailand, I was there for about 6 weeks, and I'm a larger person. I'm about 6 feet tall, and I am very thick compared to Thai people. So the first thing that I wanted to learn was how to say, excuse me, or I'm sorry. Luckily enough, it's the exact same word. So the guy who was leading us around said, you have to say, "Khatod ka," or "Khatod" is what you would say, but instead of like using that falling sound, I would just say it with like a medial sound, because we don't know tones in English. But Thai is a tonal language, and so instead of me saying "Khatod," I would say "Khatod ka."
Do you all know what a tonal language is? Do you know what that means?
A language that has tones.
Different. No more interesting. So a tonal language is one that uses tones. So I could say the same word 5 different ways. Let's say ma. If I say ma, it means come in Thai. But if I say it with a low tone, ma, it means something totally different. They have a low tone, a high tone, a falling tone, a rising tone, and a medial tone. So it'd be ma, 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 ma. 5 different words. So I was mispronouncing the tones, and so whenever I was like navigating through a big group of people, I'd be like trying to say, "Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry, may I get through? Thank you, sorry." But instead of saying that, you guys want to guess what I was saying? may I fart? They are so similar in that language. And so not only am I this massive person who is navigating very closely next to millions of people, I'm also saying, oh, may I fart? May I fart? Thank you, may I fart? And that's what I had to put up with for my first 6 weeks there. It was very fun.
How did they when you said that?
Like I had lobsters coming out of my ears. They thought it was the weirdest thing. I was like, physically, I look like a monster to them with like my facial hair, with like how tall I am, how dark my skin is, and things like that. And then I was trying to flirt, so I was like a big party monster. It was crazy.
You're the American.
I have 10 minutes.
Well,
No.
we did cut into your time a little bit, so you can
You
go a
can
little
bend
bit
it.
over.
But, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
So, I went to Thailand immediately after college. This was after the first time I had gone, after I was a partying monster to Thais, because I saw how many people didn't know who Jesus was. And at that point, I had already become a Christian. I had already been laboring on my college campus, sharing the gospel with people. And I looked around me and I saw churches everywhere. In Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is like the belt buckle of the Bible Belt, like there is literally hundreds of churches in that town of 30,000 people. And so when I went to Thailand and I didn't see any, I saw more 7-Elevens than I saw churches in Thailand. And it broke my heart. I hated seeing that because I knew that God wasn't being worshipped there. And the people there in Thailand didn't have salvation because of that. And so I wanted to go and tell everybody that I could there in Thailand about the gospel. And so that's what I did. This is my team that I went with. These are the married people who chose $5 million. And this is Carrie, Maddie, Rachel, Nathan, Nate, Nathan, me. They had a really hard time with Nathan, and Nick. Very confusing for them. Lots of N's that they don't really know how to pronounce. A little bit about our ministry. You guys ever heard of Bangkok? Bangkok, Thailand? It's like the 3rd largest city in the world, or like the 9th largest city in the world. I'm not really sure. It's top 10 for sure. It's huge. There's like 9 million people there. Or is that Chicago? I don't know. It's something like that, but it's huge. And so whenever we first came to Thailand, that's where we started. We planted here in Bangkok back in 1990. Then about 6 years later, they moved up to Khon Kaen, Thailand. They planted a church there. We're not a church planting ministry, but there literally was no church in Khon Kaen. And so they needed to do that. That was a necessity for them. So they planted a church there, and after 13 years there, they decided to go to the 2nd most populated city in all of Thailand, Chiang Mai, which is where I ended up at, about 5 years later after they got there. Our ministry, like it is here in America, as we talked about yesterday, focuses on evangelism. You guys know what evangelism is? What is it?
Sharing the gospel.
Sharing the gospel, yeah. It's like that word evangelion, the one that I can't really say. That one. And that's how you say it in Thai. Does anyone want to take a guess how you say it in Thai? Evangelism is a $5 word in English. It's a $30 word in Thai. การสอนหรือเผยแพร่คำสอนของพระเยซูคริสต์
Let's see.
That's a lot of words.
It is teaching about the life and works of Jesus Christ, is what that translates to specifically. So in Campus Outreach here in America, we try to evangelize, establish, equip, and export college students, and it's the same thing there in Thailand. So we evangelize, we establish, which means we teach them how to make their faith their own, how to read the Bible, how to pray, like that vertical relationship we talked about yesterday, and then also the horizontal relationship, how to live in biblical community, and how to share their faith. We establish them in those graces so that they can experience God for themselves without the help of someone else. Then we equip them to go and share their faith, to multiply the things that they've learned into somebody else. This is the vision of 2 Timothy 2:2. When they talk about the words that have been taught by Paul, they would go and teach another person so that they would in turn teach others. And then we export, which is to, of course, send them out, make them go, not necessarily be missionaries like vocationally, as we talked about yesterday, but to be missional in their places of employment or wherever they're at, you know. That word is som off, which means to send off. Very literally, send off. Love it. Campus Outreach focuses very heavily on these two verses, Matthew 28:18 through 20, which I failed at quoting yesterday, which says, and Jesus said to them, "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I'm with you always until the end of the age." What's up, man?
How do you say that in Thailand?
How do I say that in Thailand?
That whole verse, how do you say that?
Wow, I have to get my Bible out. I don't know, like verbatim in Thai. But the way that you say Matthew is Matthew. Matthew. You sit back to you sit. Matthew 28:18 through 20.
Why do they have letters and numbers?
That's they don't always do that, but they do that. They did that like back in the old times. Yeah. But then Matthew 28:18 through 20, Jesus is saying, "Hey, like this is your mission as a Christian. I'm gonna send you out and empower you to do that through the Holy Spirit." And in Acts 1:8, does anybody know what that says? I got it. It's fine. Acts 1:8 says, "And you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." And you see that playing out in all of the book of Acts. You see first the ministry to Jerusalem, then all of it in Judea and Samaria, and then the gospel reaching the ends of the earth. And that's where we're at right now. We are taking the gospel everywhere. You don't have to go to the ends of the earth, but I took that one pretty literally. I literally went to the other side of the world because I knew that they needed the gospel. Thailand. I don't know what that on there. That's why. Thailand is in what they call the 1040 window. Does anybody know what that is? You guys ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
1040 window is the longitude and latitude.
The time?
The time. Yeah, I mean, kinda. So the 1040 window is the area between, if you're looking at a map, America's over here, Europe's over here. I should have put this on the PowerPoint. Like the northern part of Africa and the southern part of Europe, all the way across to Asia, like through China. That is where the highest concentration of people in the world are, and it's also where the most lost people in the world are. The dominant religions there are all Eastern and Asian religions, such as Buddhism, Islam, and ethnic religions. It goes on for a long time. But Thailand is located right in the middle of that. The reason why we went there is because most of the countries there in that area are closed. Meaning that people that look like you and me, that sound like you and me, and that worship Jesus can't go there freely. We have to have a very specific reason. They won't let us in otherwise. But Thailand is the only country in that entire area that's open. They will allow us to go there. And so I can even go there as a missionary, say I'm a missionary, and labor, produce disciples, and send them out so that they can labor. Because those surrounding countries will accept people that look like them, but they won't accept us. So it's very important that we did that. Does anyone want to guess how many people are in Thailand?
You said something about 7. Oh wait, no, that was one city.
Yeah, that's just the one city.
50 million.
Ooh, close.
62.
69.
Okay, 600.
69.43 million people. The government. Does everyone guess what kind of government they have? You guys learn about government yet in school? They have a monarchy, which means they have a king. Yeah, right. The social influences that they have They're a shame-based culture, and so the big three. Where do you guys normally like get your influences from? Who influences you guys? Mom, dad, yeah. Friends,
Sure.
Family.
culture, things like that. Well, in Thailand, it's actually just the parents, of course, and they show a lot of honor to their parents, which means if their parents ever say anything, they always listen. No matter how old their parents are, no matter how old that they are, they'll listen to their parents. Their school, what their school says is law to them, and they'll get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go to class if that's what their school tells them to do. It's very important to them. And then the government. The government is corrupt. It's not a healthy government. What government is, am I right? But like, these three things are the things that govern or that control Thai people's lives. Whatever these institutions say, like your family or your parents in particular, your school and your government, they will always bow down to them because they believe that those are the biggest indicators of if you're doing well or if you are acceptable in the eyes of their religion. This is Thailand on a map. It's in the, it's just Thailand, I lied. Thailand is kind of shaped like a, like a little frying pan down here. All of the green dots are where Christianity is located. All of the orange dots is where there have been people who've gone there before, and all the red dots are where it has not yet been. Thailand is considered a lost people group according to the Joshua Project. Fine. Okay, that's fine. According to the Joshua Project, which is a Christian website or organization, they say that if you have less than 2% Christian population, then you're considered unreached, or that there is statistically not a way that the gospel is going to be multiplied. So, in Thailand, the most popular religion is Buddhist. In the eyes of Thai people, to be Thai is to actually be Buddhist. And so a lot of people tend to think that to be American is to be Christian, which that's not true. There's lots of different religions here, a lot of different beliefs. But in Thailand, they're significantly more religious and, I don't know how to say this, mono-religious than any other country in the world. Because they believe that according to their school, their family, and their government, they have to be Buddhist. Islam comes in at a not even close second with 5%. More ethnic or like very particular religions that are located in smaller people groups or camps or villages would be third at 3%. 2% of people aren't even religious, and less than 1% of people in Thailand are Christian, which means that 1 in every 48,000 people, 48,601 people are Christian. Imagine that. 1 to every 48,600 people. If you were in a room with 50,000 people, there might be 2 Christians in there.
That's like one person in Belleville. It's pretty close.
That's crazy. They're unreached. There's 113 different people groups, which means that they probably speak a different language. They have different cultures and observances. They probably have differences in their language that may not translate even to Thai. And 78 of those 113 don't even have a way to hear the gospel right now. And so whenever I saw these statistics, I heard these, and I was able to be on the ground in Thailand and see this for myself, my heart broke, and I knew that I had to go there. Thailand desperately needs people there to share the gospel. A little bit about Buddhism. Buddhism is a works-based religion. There is a famous pastor that puts it this way. A works-based religion says that God is on top of a mountain, and that all of the people are down below, and they have to do everything that they can to navigate up the mountain with what tools that other people have said to get up to God. But Christianity says that God is on top of the mountain and all the people are down below, and God actually comes down to us. That's what makes Christianity unique. Every other religion in the world says get up the mountain. Get up there as quickly and as best as you can. And if you get halfway up, you're probably okay, but who's really to say? But Christianity says God came down and made sure that you knew. Made sure that you know about who he is and how you get to heaven. And it's actually not by anything that you can do. It's by Jesus' grace and love for you. Buddhism believed in karma. You guys ever heard of karma?
I didn't know it named Karma.
There's a dog named Karma.
We didn't name it that.
Very ironic joke there.
No.
Karma is a belief that if you do good, you'll receive good, or if you do bad, you'll receive bad back to you. It's just like good luck, bad luck. Like, you know, if I bought all you on Chick-fil-A, then I'll have something good to be coming later. But, you know, if I throw all your snacks away, I'll have something bad coming to me later, you know, something like that. The goal in Buddhism is to reach enlightenment. The quote is to cease from all sin, is to get virtue and to purify the heart. So you want to be perfect and not have anything tying you down to this earth. And the moment that you stop feeling, that you stop having desires, is the moment that you'll be enlightened. They believe that only one person has ever done this before. And that person never wrote anything down or has anything to say about the religion. He's not here anymore. The Four Noble Truths, or the things that they believe, is that to exist, to be alive, is to suffer. And if you suffer, that there's a cause to it, which is the attachment to this world. And that the only way that suffering can end is if you just get rid of all of your attachment. And at that moment, you'll be taken up to nirvana, or be perfected in yourself. And that there is only one way that you can stop or like correct the suffering that you have. It's really, really sad, really, really hard to watch these people give their lives over to themselves and to think that they can please God, essentially, on their own. They think that they have an eternity to do it, that they have as many lives as they need after they die, that they'll be reborn again as a dog or as another person, depending on how well they did in their past life. And that if they do well in their next life, that they have another shot at nirvana. But we all know that's not true. Jesus says that those who live exist once, and you have one chance, one life to live. And if you live it glorifying God, if you live it worshiping God, then you will receive eternal life, true joy, happiness. But if you don't, your happiness will end when your life does. They believe in spirits and talismans, that if they hold on to lucky objects, or if they pray to people who have died, or things that are around, that they'll somehow receive favor, have good karma, and do good things. Or if they become monks, you can become a monk. Men can become monks at 3 points in their lives. So at this point, if you got, are any of y'all problem children? Y'all bad kids?
What?
It actually doesn't matter for you. You were kind of a problem child. For the guys, if you were a problem child, they would send you off to the monastery to become a monk. You'd stay there for about a month to 6 months. They'd shave your head, eyebrows and alcohol. You don't even get a shot at one eyebrow or one whole eyebrow. Like, they shave your entire head, and they make you practice Buddhism 24 hours a day. It's hard. And they do that because you're given, according to Buddhism, you're given 3 chances to become a monk. You either do it as a problem child, or you do it when you turn 18, or you can do it after you're 21. And depending on your love or desire to do it will dictate how much merit you get, or like how much good karma you get for you and your family.
How do they get sleep?
How do they? They'll sleep, but like when they wake up in the morning, they have to pray 3 times. They have to go and what do they call it, rob? Get like offerings from the people there in the city. They have to do all these like really philanthropic things. It's weird.
Do they have to like dress differently?
Yeah. You ever seen like those orange robes? Like, have you ever seen Avatar? The TV show Avatar?
They probably have.
Oh, okay. They kind of dress like the wind people.
Yeah.
So they'll wear like a tunic or like a Roman robe, toga. Yeah. So most people do it their first year of college. They'll leave school for a short period of time and they'll become a monk for a while. But if you're really religious and you really want your family, particularly your mother, to have good karma, to have a lot of spiritual points, then you will go after you're like 20 years old, because essentially you're showing the spirit or of the aura of the world that you are for Buddhism and that you really care about eternity. Thai language test, you all ready? Pencils up? I'm just kidding, don't do that. Y'all ever seen this meme before? You haven't? Alright, well this joke is missing everybody then. You guys want to guess what letter this is?
W.
Close, it's a P. You want to guess what this is?
W.
Close. No.
Okay.
It's an F. You want to guess what this one is?
Another W.
An M.
You're actually
P?
close, it's a P. Any guesses?
A really weird W.
They're all really weird W's in my opinion too. This one's also an F. Whenever I told my Thai language school teacher that they all look like W's, she laughed in my face and said, "You are ignorant," or that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Wait, what does a W look like that?
That's the thing. Like, okay.
W, all in. This is a W.
Wow.
That is a weird W.
Oh yeah, this is a W. I'll have to show you an A, because they look exactly the same. There's 44 consonants, you know, like B, C, D, F, G, and they have 21 different sounds. So 44 different letters, but only 21 different sounds. Cool. There's 39 vowels, including double sounds, kind of like AE or EI. Those are called diphthongs. And they even have like 3 of those letters strung together. So it'd be like putting a EUI or a IUE, things like that. And then of course the tones that we were talking about earlier: middle, low, high, rising, falling. You guys want to try? First word. Everyone want to guess what that says?
Horn.
U, I, hi. What's up?
P.
Actually, it says my name. My name is spelled N-I-K. That is an N, that's an I, that's a K.
I thought it was a P.
Nick. This is the word for teacher. It says crew. It's a K and an R, and a long U sound. Crew. So that'd be crewing.
Like the person in that movie. This big movie.
Yeah, that's grew.
Crew. Close though. They do like to confuse their K's and their G's. If a Thai person writes a K, it's actually a G most times. Yeah, it's weird. So the word there on the left is Christajak. Can y'all say that? Christajak.
Yeah.
Yeah. It means church, or like the Christian church. Or you can say boat.
Boat.
Boat. Why? I don't know. So this is an O, this is a B, this is an S, this is a T. This is a long O sound. Why that's a T? If you flip that circle to the outside, it's actually a P, so it doesn't really make any sense to me. But it's B, O, S, T. But that little thing right there actually kills the sound. It makes it go away, so it's both.
Wait, so why would they put that thing, why would they put the T there if it kills the sound?
Because they're tied.
Because they're Thai.
Well-
Only they can't pronounce some words that we can, and so that's probably a loan word from another language. And they, in their language, wouldn't allow you to say that. So like,
They can't say me.
me,
Me.
they can say me.
And what words can they not say?
No, Deacon, it's like a sound, like the sound breaks the world. Like we would never put like an F next to a K in a word or like an F next to a G in a word. But we might borrow a word from another language that does that. So we would make one of those letters silent so that we could say it. And that's what they did.
Wow. That was so much better than what I could have said.
That's exactly what you said.
So like, they have a T or a D sound, which is actually like a TD that we don't have here in America. And so it's like a really hard sound. So like there's a guy I know, if you were to write out his name, it's T-O-N-G, Tong. But the way they actually say it is more like thong. Thong. So it's just really weird. Instead of writing NG, they write one letter, which is no. I don't know. And the last one, anybody want to guess? What are we talking about? Yeah, the word's missionary.
Whoa.
Except the way that you say it is
Wait, so-
missionary. Missionary.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's a loan word. I am way over. I'm so sorry.
Just a little bit.
It's okay, we can always have a snack afters. Craft. On the way out.
Month one.
After, yeah, we can have it after. craft.
Yeah.
Okay.
It works for us, just fine.
Flexible.
Month one was really weird for us. We'd all never been in different contexts before. We'd only ever know the American context. We didn't know how to speak any language, and so transitioning there, we wanted to kind of have familiar things so that we can kind of keep hold of ourselves, you know. A lot of times whenever you go to like a new environment, you want consistency, you want something that's like a little familiar, so you're not freaking out. And so the way that we did that was to spend a lot of time together as our team, practice speaking, or like speak English with each other, and even like practice our Thai together. And then if you look back at the bottom left, we would often play music. I love playing music. It's a big part of my day still today. And that was something that we did to kind of keep ourselves grounded. There we are again, playing music. We had to Laos, which is like on the northeastern part of Thailand, on like the top part, to go get our visas. This is where we spent our every day essentially, and that, on any given day, that could be filled up with up to 2,000 college students. And so we'd go there and talk to them, build relationships with them, in hopes that we could like just have a friendship and share the gospel with them. But it was really, really hard because we weren't good at speaking Thai. I didn't get good at speaking Thai until probably a month or two before I left, which is perfect timing, right? No, it was very inconvenient. But God really did bless that time and allowed us to build a lot of great friendships on the front end of our stay there, which is really exciting. The two girls there built a relationship with a girl named Ong, who I'll tell you about tomorrow, just by drawing pictures and like pointing at things on the internet. It was crazy the way that it worked out, but by the end, they were able to really dig into her life and love on her really well. Thai holidays, Songkran and Loi Krathong. Songkran is the Thai New Year. Every year, they have the world's largest water fight. You guys like water guns? Water parks?
Only shooting.
Only shooting. Imagine the entire city of Belleville, entire city of St. Louis, it's bigger than St. Louis, would just be filled with people and everybody's playing in a water gun fight.
Wow.
That's Songkran. They, many, many years ago, they would like pour water on each other as a blessing and say, Happy New Year, many blessings come your way. The older people, the people in the monasteries or from the temples, like the monks and whatnot, would bless you and say, this year I hope you have very good fortune, that you're able to get rid of all of your desires for this world, and that you would reach nirvana. But it turned into everybody coming around and just throwing water on each other, as holidays normally do. They change. But that's what we did both years, was we went and celebrated with all the people downtown, because it wasn't so much of a religious celebration anymore as it was just a cultural holiday. They would get to play. They call it playing water. Oh, will you go down and play water with everybody? Yeah, we'll go down and play water with everybody. And then the other one. This one's my favorite. You guys ever seen Tangled?
Oh, yes.
I
Floating
think I watched
lanterns.
through the
Floating
end of it, and
lanterns.
then it got so weird that I quit watching it.
Oh, dude, you're missing out, man. Great movie.
I was
Lloyd,
like 5 or something.
go back. It's totally worth it. I watched it when I was 20-something. It's great. Loy Krathong is the Buddhist holiday of blessing. They are trying to appeal to the god of the air and the god of the water to bless them over the next year. They believe that there are spirits that control both of those things, and if they worship them rightly, then they'll give them really clean, healthy air and really clean, healthy water, and therefore good crops, things like that. The way that they ironically try to bless these gods, which I think that they kind of do it wrong, because they light fire and send the fire up into the sky through a lantern. It's beautiful. Like, it's one of the most incredible things to be downtown and watch all of these go up, but it's pollution. So it's really counterintuitive.